What's up YouTube, Weatherman here, bringing you another Training 101 video. This time I'm going to be going over, again, more room clearing, but now we're going to handle a much more complicated situation. Okay, the camera keeps trying to cut out on me. So this is a more complicated situation. Previously we just had the single room that was being cleared by 5 people. This go around we're going to complicate things. We're going to add an interior room. Oh my gosh, an interior room. How are we going to, handle all this stuff with just those 5 people? Well, if you watch the first video, you then understand the basics of what we're about to cover. The basics, and the reason the basics are so important is once you have that baseline, you then have freedom to execute with that baseline essentially however you see fit. So yes, the discipline of discipline that comes with a stack of 5 and room clearing turns into freedom when dealing with more complicated situations. And this is a complicated situation. You have an interior room directly across from another door. That's a very dangerous situation, by the way. That's how you get shot in the back trying to go in there and take out another room. Sorry if you see camera shake every now and then. I'm just pulling up the touch screen on my camera back up so I can see. So I'm not going to go over the basics. We've already covered that. So I'm going to jump right in and say, what do you do in a situation like this? Well, ideally what you want to start doing is cutting this room into controllable tactical sections. You may have heard the term pieing a corner, where when you pie a corner, and you can't really see it right there. So when you pie a corner, for example, as you're coming around that corner, you are cutting it into sections that you can easily control until eventually you have now cleared that corner and you're looking straight down that wall. So that's pieing the corner. You can do the same thing when actually breaching a room, especially larger rooms or rooms that have a great deal of extra structure to them. So in this particular scenario, bring my camera back up so I make sure I can see and that it's still recording, because I've already recorded this once, I thought. So in this particular scenario, just like before, you're going to have a single room that you're breaching. And just like before, you're going to cover your basics. You're going to hit those corners. Now, if you have a door that enters that room in the corner or exits from a corner, it doesn't actually change anything. The placement of a door shouldn't be that big of an impact on how you go about clearing the room. The only thing it really does is change how you're going to move through the room. Because if it's a center cut, you're probably either going to funnel in like that or do button hooks around the corner. In this scenario, the first one in can button hook, or they can just go straight down that corner. It's their choice. But once you know what the person in front of you is doing, your job becomes simpler. So in this scenario, the odds are going to go to the right, and the even are going to go to the left. So here, your 1-man, your 3-man, that's a terrible 3, I know. 2, 4. So just like before, they're going to come in and they're going to hit these corners, and they're still going to be covering the center area. So by the time they're all said and done, they're going to have all their guns trained towards the middle. But here's where the scenario changes a little bit. That's not the entire room. The rest of the room is back in this direction. So yes, they come in, they do check that corner. 1-man checks this corner. Maybe he peeks his eyes back this way to cover, but that wouldn't be the smart choice. So in this scenario where you have a much more complicated room, your 1-man's eyeballing this corner. You have plenty of guns over here. 2, 4, and 3 are all looking towards the middle. They're covering your back. Teamwork. 1-man is watching this corner. 2 and 4 should have visibility into this section. 5-man, of course, covers the rear. I'm not going to draw the 5-man in this scenario because he's always going to be covering your rear 9 times out of 10. Alright, so you've now cleared this first section. What do you do about the next section? Well, you continue to flow down this wall. Since this corner over here is clear, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Since for the odd number guys, the point man and his team, have already cleared this corner, they're going to continue to funnel down this wall until they reach this corner. Two and four are also going to continue their little quest down this wall. So, you know what? Not even going to erase it. Just going to draw it. Alright, so your 2-man and your 4-man are moving down that wall together. Now, whenever you see an interior door, you make sure you yell door and you cover that door. Don't just walk into the room and be like, hey, look, there's a door there, and then immediately turn your back to it. That's how you get shot in the back. That's how your teammates get shot in the back. One man might have been the first person to see this door. All right, he's eyeballing this door so no one comes through as 2 and 4 move up. Once 2 and 4 are in a good position, what's going to happen is 4 is probably going to see this door. He's going to holler out, door. 1 and 3 now know that they are stacked up on an interior wall that has another door around the corner from them. So with your 2-man fire teams, you're going to execute and deal with this situation. Now, you may not know what's on the other side of this door. Could be a walk-in closet. Could go to a much more cavernous room. You're not going to know until you actually go through that door. This is why you want to make sure you're communicating with your team. So in this scenario, 1's going to cover that door until 2 and 4 move up. Once 2 and 4 move up, this plane, once you break this plane, you're in breaching mode yet again. You are now covering and breaching into a new section that's very different from the old section. So as y'all come around this corner, you're going to want to come around this corner simultaneously. Why? Because if this guy goes first, someone could crack this door open and shoot him, and there's nothing the 2-man can do about it. If you move up together, it's a little bit safer. So 2 and 4 move up, 1 and 3 move up. And let's say this, for the sake of argument, this wall is good enough to cover both of them. Your 1 and your 3-man are now stacked with a little mini stack on that wall. Your 2-man's now covering that door, and your 4-man is now helping to cover that door. You can probably tell there's a great deal of firepower concentrated in this corner. That's what a good breach and a good room clearing technique does, is it puts a lot of firepower in a small area. With all of this space being covered, 1 and 3, for this example, are going to go ahead and breach this room. And we're going to say it's just a smaller interior room, maybe like an office space. You know, this is the lobby and this is like the boss's office. All right, so just like with any room clearing, check your corners. Smaller rooms, it becomes easier. Less hiding places. So as 1 and 3 come in, however they choose to do it, 1 may decide to go this way, and 3 decides to loop around and go this way. Either way, the principles from the first breach and clear are the same. You're just now doing it with 2 people instead of 4 people. But in a smaller room, it does become easier. I've seen people clear, 10 by 10 rooms with 1 person. It's doable. Not necessarily smart, but it's doable. 2 people, obviously it's safe. For 4 people, you're going to have a lot of people crammed in there. But again, it's doable. However, in this situation, you can't afford to take your eyes off that other door. So it has to be done with 2. This is why it's good for everyone to have that same baseline knowledge of room clearing. So even when you break it down into 2-man fire teams, you're still doing the basics of room clearing. You just divided up the room into more controllable sections until you could work your way out. And you're going to do that for pretty much any scenario. Now, let's say this isn't just a small little walk-in closet or an office space. Let's say 1 and 3 enter this room. And I know my whiteboard's getting messy. I'm starting to look like John Madden over here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to pan the camera this way. So let's say as they enter this section, this isn't a small interior closet or something. Let's say it goes into another cavernous room. That's going to be a little more complicated for just a 2-man fire team to clear, so how do you go about dealing with it? Well, as you clear, you're quickly going to realize, hey, this isn't a small room. It's actually a much larger room. Just like before, you came in and you cleared your corners, but now you notice, oh, hey, There's more corners that need to be cleared. Could you do this with a two-man fire team? Yes. Is it wise? No. In a scenario like this, once you breach this interior room and you realize, okay, it's bigger than we thought, you may want to call 2 and 4 to come in and back you up. Or maybe you just call for one other person to come back you up. 4-man comes in here. 2 and 5 are still going to be out here covering the doors for you. Ideally, you want to keep your team whole. So you might just call back the entire stack and they all funnel into this room. 2 and 4 continue to cover those, 2 and 5 cover those doors. 4 goes in. 5 starts working his way back. He enters this room then, calls last man. So 2 now knows he's the last, that the entire team has now moved past him, and he's going to fall back into this room, continuing to cover that door. Remember in my previous video, I mentioned you can change up the stack however needed. Guess what? Your 2-man's now your 5-man. When he comes in, he's covering the rear, and the first few people in this room are now your stack that you're going to go through and clear the rest of the room with. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I kind of rushed this video a little bit. Again, I'm packing for Stonebreaker, but hopefully this information will allow you to understand that even though you're going to come across more complicated rooms like what I'm going to be dealing with at Stonebreaker, the principles from the first video continue to apply. Breaching a one room, a single like 10 by 20 room, is at its core going to be the same as clearing an entire building with complicated rooms, complicated hallways, and complicated scenarios. So long as you adhere to those basic principles, you can keep your team as safe as possible while clearing that entire structure. I hope this video was helpful. I'm sure I probably missed some very important points. Again, I'm kind of rushing this video before Stonebreaker. But if you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. If I truly, screwed this video up and this video is terrible, then I will go back and re-upload it. I'll redo the video. I'll make sure I get all the points the second go around. I just wanted to get this out there real quick, mostly for my teammates who I'm going to be running with at Stonebreaker, but also because it's good to know this knowledge that what you learn as the core, the basics of something, can always be applied to more complicated situations. That's why, in the military, they drill in the basics over and over and over again, because once you have the basics mastered, you can't get it wrong. So then when you're faced with more complicated situations, you're not thinking, hey, what do I need to do? You're just reacting to the situation. And since everyone has the same baseline knowledge in your team, you all know how to react together, and it becomes this seamless transition. You're not going to have to explain to one of your teammates, oh, this is why we're going to do it this way. You all have the baseline knowledge, so he's going to automatically know, yep, that's the right call. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to execute it, and it's going to win. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got some great footage from Stonebreaker that I'm going to be getting. I do have a helo ride, so that'll be fun. And this is my first time at GTI. I'm really excited about it. I know in some ways it's probably going to suck because GTI is a very large AO and a very complicated building, so there's going to be some CQB action in there for sure. But I look forward to this event, and I look forward to posting it online and editing it, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you on the battlefield.